Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Snyder Family Homestead. Today we're going to be planting some asparagus. We had prepared this bed right here, and let's get started. So obviously on a homestead, or back in the olden days, food security was always extremely important. And acquiring that food source was number one on everybody's minds. And doing that was trying to figure out what things to plant. So your supply of canned goods are probably starting to run a little low, and you're starting to probably want some fresh vegetables to go maybe in some soups or to cook down or so on and so forth. So asparagus comes up in the spring and lasts until summer, as long as you don't overpick it. And it's just a great nutrient food source to get going first thing in the spring. And just like that, in about 3.5, 4 years, I have another patch just like this. Asparagus is a lot like fruit trees. The best time to plant it was always 5 years ago. So I was not happy with the onion seeds that I'd planted at all. So I just finally decided to go buy some onion sets, and that's what we're gonna be planting right now. I have yellow and white onion sets. So we're gonna be planting the yellow onions here, and I'm gonna be doing a pattern. They're still about 4 inches apart, but I'm gonna be planting them in a zigzag pattern. That way we can get more onions in a row. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you on a time lapse while I do the rest of these. We'll make this go by pretty fast. So there we have it. A row of onions, yellow onions. 134 planted in this row right here. 2 by 2 by 2 is what the method I ended up using. The stagger method wasn't working out. There are other methods to planting onions. You have 5 pattern, 2, 1, 2, straight line, whatever floats your boat. Whatever you do, it's your garden. Do what you want. I have more 2 pounds of white onions to do. I have about a half a pound left of the yellows that I call misfits, the little ones. I'll plant those later. That's just, I'm not going to put that on video. But thanks for tuning in. Have a good night. Today we're going to finish up what we started yesterday. It just got too hot. We couldn't do it anymore out here in the garden. The kids got tired. So today we're going to plant some Indian corn, decorative corn. We're going to use that for chicken feed. And we're going to also plant some sunflower seeds. Indian corn, Indian ornamental corn from True Leaf Market. It's an online marketplace. And then what it looks like is this here. It's your standard, just, Indian decorative corn. I don't know if it's a flint or a flower corn or anything like that. But what I'm doing is soaking it. And by soaking it, what happens is you start the germination process faster by allowing the seeds to absorb the water. That way you don't have to wait for rain or the seeds to absorb the water naturally through the soil. It just gives it a jump start, especially on the hot summer days. All right, so what we got done is we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What we got to do now is plant them. Man, today was just a scorcher. I planted those 2 rows of corn and I just couldn't finish it. It was just too hot. The kids were hot. They couldn't do it any longer. So now that it's cooler out, it's like 7:30 now at night, June 2nd. We come out and we finish planting the 6 rows of the Indian corn, and we have prepared 2 short beds for sunflower seeds. These are our 2 short rows right here. They're roughly 20 feet long, which will come to about a 40-foot bed in length. So this is another True Leaf Market product. It is organic mammoth gray striped sunflowers. Once again, the reason we're planting these is for chicken fodder or chicken feed. I just want to point out that I am not a True Leaf sponsor. I'm planting these because I like the product. I would actually like to be a sponsor someday, maybe if I get enough viewers. So don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Nothing really fancy to planting sunflower seeds either, just like anything else. I'm planting them about every 3 to 4 seeds per every 6 feet. Got the kids outside playing with the dog. Nothing really fancy, just short beds. I'm just using it at the end of the garden space here. Sunflowers do grow really tall, and they tend to shade out other things. So I recommend planting them at the end or along the side of your garden so they don't shade out food crops. So a little bit of a garden update here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 hills of watermelons, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of cantaloupe. And then I had a viewer that watched one of my shorts of planting store-bought potatoes, and he asked, are they growing? They are growing at 6 rows, but they're not coming up through the soil yet. I did look them up, or dig them up. They're not sprouting yet through the soil, but they have formed eyes. When I bought them, they were not forming eyes. You can see the eye nodules, but they have not formed any eyes yet. I made these holes earlier today. These will be for my peppers that I have. Peppers are just not quite ready to be in the soil yet. Sweet corn is on fire after I watered it, and we got these last couple warm days here in Michigan. It has just exploded like crazy. And now for the forgotten potatoes that you find at the bottom of your potato bin, or in the back of the cabinet, or in your potato drawer. These potatoes were store-bought. They were forming eyes and some pretty decent long sprouts, about 2 inches. I do have a video on this planting. I believe it's called No Garden, No Problem. Potato tower, planting potatoes in a box and making a garden tower. And these potatoes here are also the same story. They're sprouting up as well. This one here is a potato tower. I do have cardboard in there, surrounded by chicken wire, that I will be filling up. As the potatoes grow higher, I will be adding more soil around them to hopefully deepen the bedding, and so that the potatoes will sprout in between the soils as the soil rises, producing more potatoes as it goes up as well. Some of my viewers have been wondering where my chicken friends have been. Here they are. They're getting bigger. Now they're snacking on what's left over, some sweet corn and some watermelon rinds. They're due for a move. It's just really hot today and decided to take the kids swimming instead of moving them. So yeah, like I was saying, we are planting the corn and the sunflowers for the chickens. They're going crazy back there. To feed the chickens. So, but why? Well, part of being homesteaders is to be self-efficient, to help costs and so on and so forth. So a chicken will eat about a cup of corn a day, or about a quarter pound of feed a day. Um, some papers or some ag extensions will tell you different things, but what I figure is 1 cob of corn per chicken per day, medium size ear, about a 10-inch ear, will feed 1 chicken per day, medium chicken, not a Brahma or anything like that, regular standard breed chicken. A large sunflower about 10 inches across in diameter. I don't know what the circumference on that would be, but just 10 inches diameter in any direction will give you enough to feed 1 chicken for the day. That will cut down on costs for egg layers such as these. When you're talking meat birds, completely different animal, bred completely differently, especially if you're talking the industrialized white chickens. Maybe if you bred something a little bit different, selectively bred, but the same thing is going to be is you want to have them free choice feed, and the way to get big, as I can tell because I'm a big guy, is you want them to eat whenever they want to get big and fat and juicy. And the best way to do that is for them to have whenever they want. So a meat chicken will need, I believe, 8 to 9 pounds of feed to get them to 8 pounds in 8 weeks. So it's roughly a pound of grain per week. There is some leniency in the first couple weeks because they're just little. They're just not going to eat that much. So most of that, they'll eat pretty much all that grain in the last 4 weeks. So to cut down on feed costs, I'm going to grow my own grain. I'm looking into trying to selectively breed my own chickens too. But maybe next year there's just too much going on trying to build a homestead. As you can see, I don't have a whole lot. I just got some chickens in a garden, asparagus patch. That's it. For the first year, we got some other things we're trying to build and so on and so forth. We built the house, brand new homestead, starting from scratch. We don't have nothing. We got some trips coming up that we can't really do any livestock, big ones this year, like hogs or cattle or anything like that. Chickens are manageable. You can set them up with a drinking system or a watering system, and you can go for 3 or 4 days. We're just too busy with softball and so on and so forth right now that we can't just manage any large animals. But so I covered the garden updates, homestead updates, the potatoes, and what's going on with the chickens and planting their own grain. So thanks for stopping by the Snyder Family Homestead. Have a good night.